If we didn't have the same mom and dad, I would call you the son of a bitch that you are. Go ahead, Ralph Angel. Let Nova know. All right, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Miss Sophia the Diva, and I'm back here for another review and discussion, my commentary, my viewpoints on the latest episode of Queen Sugar. We are in season 4. This is episode 2, and this episode is called I No Longer Imagine. And I no longer imagine that Nova will have a family any longer because her behavior, her attitude towards this book, Blessings and Blood, is just, it's narcissistic. It really is. Never would you thought that Nova would stoop that low in all of her self-righteousness and her. I think Nova is one of those people that is so woke to the point where she needs to go back to sleep and try it again. Her behavior is aberrant. She is belligerent. She stands in her own ignorance. And I'm just really disappointed in the direction in which Nova is going with this book in her life because honestly, she sees no wrong. I believe that she is truly blinded by her own ambition so much to the point where she can't see the harm that she is doing to her family. But this is Queen Sugar. Let's see how this plays out. We've seen the previews. Aunt Vi don't want her in her life. Her brother and sister, I mean, she's going to be a social outcast. Just airing out all the dirty laundry of these people. As a writer and as a publishing company, for the life of me, I get that there really is no case for slander and libel because if it's the truth, then you kind of don't, and it's not done with malicious intent. Nova's argument every time it's brought up to her throughout this episode and even on last episode was that, I'm doing this because I want our family to heal. Yes, we are only as sick as our secrets, but at the same time, why is it your business to tell the secrets of the family to the world? When we open up, Charley had called Ralph Angel right before the episode closed out and told him, have you gotten a copy of the manuscript? Whatever you do not read the book. Of course, when you call and tell somebody that, my automatic thing, girl, let me pick up this book and start reading. So Ralph Angel read it. And so when she got there, she knew by the look on his face. And he was like, I only read parts of it and I've read enough to know how could she do that to Blue. So not only has she told the entire family secret, she has also done some damage to Blue by airing it out that Blue is in fact not a Bordelon but someone else's child genetically. And he was like, every time, basically Ralph Angel's thought on the matter was every time I'm trying to get up, someone's always kicking me back down. And that is a sad reality, especially for some Black people in particular, because it is always our plight of us trying to ascend and do better. And then someone is always raining on our head and crushing our necks and trying to keep us down. And we must say, since season 1, Ralph Angel has come full circle. He is finally coming into his own and being a little bit more mature about his approach in life. But, it sounds to me like Nova basically painted him as some sort of derelict that just has this tragic story. So after him and Charley have a conversation, he goes to confront Nova. Nova basically is like shocked that her brother would actually be mad at her for writing this book. And I'm like, girl, you told all of his business. You made it seem like he was trifling and no count, this son. Well, when were you going to have the talk with Blue? I mean, you were going to tell him. You said, we can sit down and talk about it with him. Nova, no matter how you try to paint this, it was not your business to tell. Blue is going to be hurt. And Ralph Angel is right. People are going to talk, even if this book doesn't see the light of day, which Charley is working to see that it doesn't see the light of day. The plan also was, Ralph Angel just thwarted the whole plan. Charley told him, let me do what I got to do with my legal finaglings, and then we will confront her together. Ralph Angel is a hothead. He was like, nah, we're going to get this settled today. So when he went over there, he just had to let it out, and he had every right to. Somebody said it best on Twitter this lady named Cool Below. It said, Nova is the most self-absorbed, self-righteous sister I've ever seen. She hurts people with her actions and justifies it with feminism. And as we proceed in our discussion on this episode, you will see how she tries to justify what she wrote about her sister and her Aunt Vi in feminism and love. That ain't love, boo-boo. That's blinded by ambition, okay? It's like she never stopped to think about the collateral damage she was going to do to her family, particularly a child. And before Ralph Angel left, he basically told her, you ain't never got to worry about me coming around. You stay away from my son. And he broke a picture with him and her and their sister. Broke the frame and walked out. But before he could even get out the door good, she had visitors come in, and the girl, the publisher or PR lady, whoever she is, was like, oh my God, who are you? And she was like, this is my brother, Ralph Angel. And she was like, oh my God, I read your story twice. It really broke my heart. It was so heartbreaking. I'm like, really, lady? Now is not the time to be telling Ralph Angel that you just read his story. Can't you see how awkward? Don't you feel the energy and tension in the air? Meanwhile, we have a visitor that's on the road in a Cadillac, cowboy hat, silver beard, David Alan Grier, helping an old lady. I was like, David Alan Grier got better with age, because when he was younger, I just did not think he was attractive. And when I was living in LA, I got to see him perform at the Comedy Union. I had no idea. I promise you, I had never seen David Alan Grier other than on In Living Color. And he was funny on In Living Color, but it's improv with a little bit of script or whatever. But, I got to see him at the Comedy Union. He is so funny. Like, why he hasn't ascended to the ranks of someone like Chris Rock or Cat Williams or even like Eddie Murphy when he was out and about all the time. But David Alan Grier was really funny. So my wheels started turning, and I was like, this gotta be Aunt Vi's worst nightmare, okay? But we're going to talk about that, towards the end. Vi is running around at her diner, and she's looking for Hollywood, and she finds Hollywood in the office. He's like freaking reading a book, and he kind of tries to shuffle around. She was like, the floors need a mopping. The tables need a busting. The cash register need attention. Like, what are you doing, man? And so he was like, oh yeah, I got caught up in doing some things. So, yeah, let me get out there. This damn book is going to tear this family apart. Meanwhile, Ralph Angel is back on the farm. One of the farm hands, Ignacio, was talking to him, telling him how we're going to do the crops and everything. Ralph Angel was like on another planet. I mean, because how do you get over knowing that the child you've been raising, who is not your son, but for all intents and purposes, for technical reasons, I mean, if you look at it from the perspective of what makes a father, what makes a family, that's his son. How dare you, Nova? I'm still mad about this. I am so upset about this. Even though I know this is fiction, but I know people like that do shit like this in real life. They do this shit, okay? But I was like, Ignacio, baby, he ain't heard a word you said. You could have told him, Senor, we're coming back tonight to steal all of the crops, and we're going to take all your farm equipment. And he would have said, okay then, too, to that, because he didn't hear you. Meanwhile, Nova is doing her promo pics for this book tour she's going on, and the lady is like noticing that she's not all together there either, as well as she shouldn't be, because now she's having second thoughts. And so the lady was telling me, oh my God, sweetheart, not everybody can come on this journey with you. I mean, you're a published author now. And I'm just like, what do you mean not everybody can come on this journey with her? Did you honestly think in your wild ass, rabbit ass mind that the family would co-sign to something like this when they never signed on for it? I personally think they opened themselves up to a lawsuit. Hopefully, Charley can get this injunctive relief. But my thing is, when she said that, I was like, but that's that girl's family. This is not just like some homegirls and homeboys that she's known since childhood when they go way back to breaking the fire hydrants and eating wish sandwiches. Okay, no, this is her family. Okay, her brother and sister, her aunt, her nephews. I mean, How dare she? And all you care about is dollar signs, so shut the hell up. And Nova just crying and shit, and then she has to go smoke weed. I forgot what his name is, but I remember him from the first 2 seasons. And I think he also was instrumental in helping Nova navigate the criminal justice system to get Too Sweet out at one point. But I'm like, cry now. You better get those tears, them crocodile tears out, because that's how I feel about them, because you had to have known that there would be collateral damage and fallout, and that your family would not be too pleased about a book that you wrote about them that was never your story to tell. Meanwhile, at Vi's Diner, Hollywood, Charley, and Ralph Angel are all sitting down, and they talking basically about somebody needs to tell Aunt Vi before the shit gets out. And Hollywood was like, I just can't believe she wrote all this stuff. Like, why would she do something like that? And then at one point, Vi comes up talking about, we need to tell who what. And Ralph Angel covered it up real fast. And he was like, oh, somebody's been messing with Blue. And of course, when it comes to Blue, Vi don't play. She was like, well, you give me that mama number, I'll take care of it. But she knew something wasn't right. And so Hollywood eventually, as the episode proceeded, finally had to just let her know, you ain't gonna like what she wrote in this book. At some point, we do see her reading the book. But Charley was concerned that Ralph Angel going over there would probably trigger something. But we already know it's kind of too late. The book has already gone to press. It's being published. But that doesn't mean it necessarily has to go up for sale unless they do something like a leak. But in addition, looks like Ralph Angel may have a new love interest. He goes and takes Blue to a classmate's birthday party. And if y'all remember in the first episode, he was playing with a girl that's really a tomboy, and her mom, who's a very beautiful woman. Her and Ralph Angel meet up at the party and decide to go to the mall and just kind of hang out. It looked like Perimeter Mall, but I don't know if that was Perimeter Mall here in Atlanta, but who knows. So they are walking in the mall and just getting to know each other. And when Ralph Angel finds out that old girl is like a public defender, I was like, oh shit. I said, I wonder how she gonna feel when she found out that Ralph Angel is a felon. I clerked at the public defender's office when I was in law school. I know y'all hear this all the time, but it's one of my favorite jobs, and this is sad to say, it was one of my favorite jobs next to working at Wild Pear Shoe Stores. It just was. Those are the two jobs in my life I can honestly say, oh, that and working at Hertz. I loved working at Hertz. So it was so much fun. But I learned, and it changed my perspective on people that have gone to prison and been in jail. It's like sometimes it's not because they're bad people. It's because, they just made bad choices. Or it's more and more we're starting to see that the police just purposely target us and try to make us out to be bad people when we're not. So hopefully she has that philosophy on it. And, people always give public defenders a hard time. But the truth of the matter is that if you knew how much a public defender got paid and what their caseload is, it just doesn't add up. It's the same thing when we deal with people who are social workers. Like, public servant people do not get paid a lot of money unless they're high up. Which also makes you wonder, why do CEOs of major corporations have to get paid millions of dollars and you don't want to pay the people who actually keep us safe millions of dollars? But I digress. So either way, who knows? This might be Ralph Angel's new love. I mean, Darla's moving out, honey. She was up there posted up with some man. I was like, I don't know if two drug addicts should be getting together, because I guess he's her sponsor and then he's trying to encourage her to become a sponsor, but now they're in the romance. After the party, her and Ralph Angel link up. And Ralph Angel's walking with Blue and he sees her like talking to this man and kissing him. You could tell that Ralph Angel was a little bit in his feelings. It's hard, y'all. It really is hard to be in love with someone and to know you need to let that go because it's not working, but you still love them. You got love for them. So it's kind of hard, and especially when they have the conversation, because he was trying to get in her business, and she was like, I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, I don't want to hear about who you with. I know that's right. It's just like, it's over. we gonna co-parent. We gonna focus. Our conversations will only have to do with what has to do with Blue. So meanwhile, Charley in this episode, we see her picking up Micah from the airport. He got chartered. His daddy had to chart him a private plane to get him back. He looks like his name is Jean-Pierre or somebody. You know, he's been in France. He's been going to all these different meetings and learning about civil rights. And I will say this, I think that's very important for us to afford our children those opportunities, as well as people like even myself. Like, I would love to go on a trip like that and learn about civil rights and human rights in other countries and how internationally it's being dealt with. Because Laura knows here in America, if you see what's going on with the immigrants in these detention centers, it's deplorable. And, you know, people still, you know, were saying Hillary was wrong. No, this is what a Republican regime, and yes, I said a Republican regime, will get us. Okay? Deplorable conditions for human beings. Okay? But I tell you this much, I bet a lot of y'all immigrants who came over here living the American dream and voted Republican because you thought that Trump really was going to hook up some stuff for y'all. I bet y'all learned right quick, right fast that he was a liar, okay? Actually, he didn't lie. He told you exactly what he was going to do, but y'all didn't believe fat meat was greasy. But, oh well. Let me digress again. Anyway, Micah gets back. He's got like a little gag, a girl, a little white girl. Oh my God, Micah, let's take a picture with you. Charley, you can tell, is a little shocked by how her son has changed. But I mean, I'm like, he's a man. He's becoming a man, Charley. You're going to let him become his own man. Flash forward, we see him at his Aunt Nova's house. She gives him a copy of this damn book. And I'm just like, damn. This hits just like a sledgehammer. You know, Charley, in this episode, at one point, tells her son that, you know, why didn't you tell me you were going to lock your hair? You know, you look like this now. You're going to be a target. I get it, but at the same time, I was a little offended. If he wants to lock his hair, let him lock his hair. On top of that, he meets up with his friends. They're all excited to see him and his new look. And Sister Kiki shows up, you know, his boo, his bae. Okay, they go to a football, it had to be a football game, and some white boy, as per usual, got up in his face and they got into a confrontation. Basically, Micah beat the dog shit out of both of them because, you know, they purposely walked into him. And I will say this, there are some people that are walking in their privilege. I recently had an incident here at a local grocery store, and I had never seen anything like it. I'm like, y'all bold with it, aren't you? This white couple, I call them Bill and Kathy. I was like, how you gonna walk up in a line full of people and just walk up like, oh, it's okay, we can just skip everyone. And then you all up on me like, I guess in their minds they were like, oh, she just a nigga, so we can do this. Boo, I just got out of spin class. I feel invigorated. These endorphins are popping and you can catch these hands, okay? I'm not a violent person, but sometimes you just have to let some of these white people that are disrespectful, not everyone, because y'all know my friendship circle is like a rainbow. Taste it, boo. But, you know, it's like some white people are just disrespectful, and he was very disrespectful the entire time. He was all up in my space, so Micah had to let him know. Needless to say, that's how he ended up at Nova's house. It was after this fight. And then, you know, she gives him the book. He goes home to his mom. His mom is very upset. You know, you're fighting. And I'm like, Micah, I get where he was coming from. Because Micah said one of the things that he had learned is that they grow up. People like the boy he had to put an ass whooping on. He said they grow up laughing at us and then they start abusing us. And that's true. As long as we continue to let people like that in our schools mistreat us and disrespect us, from now on, Micah told his aunt, you know, it's zero tolerance from here on out. Charley, before Micah comes home, is still spending time with Romero, and they have a conversation about this book. And Romero is like, I get that you don't want your family secrets out. He asked her, could she live through it? And I was like, yeah, at this point, it becomes, if she can't stop the book from being published, it becomes a matter of, can I live through this? You know, let the chips fall where they may, face everything head on and be okay with it. I wouldn't want to live through anything like that because it's not fair to our deceased family. It's disrespectful. You know, it's one thing to write an essay about your depressed father. He's deceased. Your brothers and sister Your brother and sister and your aunt are all still very much alive and well. So is Micah and Blue. I tell Charley, fight it. I wouldn't want to live through that. As we close out the episode, and throughout this episode, Charley had been trying to figure out, when am I going to have this conversation with my sister? So when Micah comes home and he basically tells her he's not going to allow people to disrespect him, he wants to lock his hair, all this stuff, and that Blessed in Blood book was in hand, Charley said, I'm sick of this shit. I'm going to go talk to my sister. Charley read a portion of the book. Charley is light complected. I don't know, did they ever tell us in any of these seasons? I think I checked out on season 2 for a minute too. I don't know why I do that with Queen Sugar, because I really do love the series. But do we know is her mother white or just a fair-skinned black woman? I mean, whose child is she? Who's her mama? Because we know her and Ralph Angel don't have the same parents. And I think she's in the middle, because I think Nova, is she the oldest? I don't remember. But when Charley read that paragraph, it sounded to me like for years, as Charley pointed out, that maybe, just maybe, Nova is a little jealous and has resentment for her sister and her light skin. And just a hater. It feels like a total betrayal. She said, basically, you just hate me. And Nova continues to stand in what she believes is her truth and tell her sister that this will help so many people. We tired of hearing that you sound like a broken record. And, I did this because I wanted our family to heal. Okay? And I wanted to help heal others. It's like a case study. Here's the thing, Nova. If you wanted it to be a case study, you could have done like so many other people with textbooks do. You could have pretended that you had to keep your client's business close to the chest, attorney-client privilege, therapist privilege with, HIPAA. Pretend it was HIPAA. You could have done a case study and made a textbook for some, social work class or something. You could have made it a textbook and changed the names. And people still would have probably read it. But instead, you were like, well, this is my family's pathology. She was trying, I bore my soul. I was like, well, did you tell them that you were messing around with a married cop? That white dude that she used to mess around with. Speaking of which, where's Remy? Are we going to see Remy in any of these episodes? And then as we proceed on, Charley's like, that's it. I've had it. You stay away from my son. Don't come near him. He trusts you. And when he reads this book, he's going to look at me and think that I'm a monster. You need to fix this. And she tears the picture. Ralph Angel broke the frame. Left the picture. Charley destroyed the picture. So that to me was symbolic of the fact that the Bordelon siblings, it's done. It's over. Nova's dead to them. She's going to be ostracized. But you go ahead and go on your book tour. You go ahead and live your life. Ostracized from a family that loved you, and y'all have fought so hard for everything, and yet still you did everything you could to destroy that relationship because you think that it was your job to help air out all the family secrets so you can have so the whole world can have a conversation versus the whole family coming together and having a conversation about, okay, we need to talk about all these things that happened to our family. Vi gonna kill Nova. We see in the previews where she basically says, I don't ever want to see you again. So, I don't know what to tell you, Nova. You fucked up, basically. Meanwhile, the pimp daddy and the caddy, Mr. David Allen Greer's character, we kind of all saw it. I'm pretty sure everyone picked up on the fact this has to be Aunt Vi's ex-husband, especially when he was like asking once he got to the hotel, where's that diner I've been hearing about? And he says, my name is Dale, Jimmy Dale. So I can't wait for this week's coming episode. It's a Sunday afternoon. Diva is chilling. I'm trying to stay motivated and do these reviews. But someone came on Twitter last night while I was watching To Have and to Hold Charlotte and asked me, was I going to review Queen Sugar this season? Because they were enjoying my season 3 reviews, the ones that I did actually finish. And that made me say, okay, I got to get on my grind because people are actually watching these videos. And I want to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to my channel, who actually take time to listen to the things that I say. I appreciate it. I also want to apologize for the sound quality if this video sounds, kind of grainy or whatever. I just found out my right speaker on my MacBook Pro is broken and Apple wants $111 for me to fix it. I thought I could go to this other aftermarket place and get it done there as well with them, but they're charging $110. I said, what's the difference? The good thing is Apple has a recall on my machine right now, so I'm gonna have to send it in anyway. The recall is free, but the speaker's $111, and I'm just like, I ain't got it. So you know, I just may have to, like, but they want me to give them my machine for 2 weeks. Can y'all believe that? But anyways, I'm rambling. But anyways, if this is your first time here, please subscribe to my channel. Please help me. I have 355 subscribers at the making of this video, so only 645 more to go before I can start monetizing these videos and making a little change off these videos. And I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe. So I don't want to go back to corporate America. Either way, I have been Miss Sophia the Diva. You have been listening to me talk about Queen Sugar I No Longer Imagine, Season 4, Episode 2. And I will definitely be watching. You can always join me on Twitter, where my handle is @Sophia the Diva. And we can have a good time. I'm on the East Coast, so that's usually when I'm tweeting. Unless I'm out running around doing some errands or whatever. But anyways, that's all I've got. Stay fabulous.